Hi everyone, welcome to PHILO. Peace agreement between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of Rwanda. According to the BBC, Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo have signed a peace deal in Washington aimed at ending decades of devastating conflict between the two neighbors and potentially granting the U.S. lucrative mineral access. We are going to take you through some of this peace agreement important points. The detailed agreement can be found at the website of the U.S. Department of State. Provision number 1. Territorial integrity and prohibition of hostilities. Respect for the Democratic Republic of the Congo's territorial integrity. Disengagement of forces. Lifting of defensive measures by Rwanda. The parties agreed to implement the harmonized plan for the neutralization of the FDLR and disengagement of forces, lifting of defensive measures by Rwanda, CONOPS, of October 31, 2024, as provided for in this agreement. Respect for the Republic of Rwanda's territorial integrity. Neutralization of the FDLR. The parties agreed to implement the harmonized plan for the neutralization of the FDLR and disengagement of forces, lifting of defensive measures by Rwanda CONOPS of October 31, 2024, as provided for in this agreement. Peaceful resolution of disputes. Prohibition of hostile acts. Prohibition of support for hostile acts or armed groups. The parties shall not allow any military or other hostile activities against each other on or from their respective territories or provide support for such activities abroad. Protection of civilians and humanitarian personnel. The parties shall facilitate the free movement of civilians, including humanitarians. Provision number 2. Disengagement, disarmament, and integration of non-state armed groups. To promote an enduring end to conflict and to unlock the economic potential of the region, the parties shall support the ongoing negotiations between the DRC and the AFC M23 under the mediation of the State of Qatar in Doha and efforts to disarm and demobilize non-state armed groups. Provision number 3. Joint Security Coordination Mechanism. The parties shall work together and with regional and international partners to promote stability, security, and development in the region, recognizing that peace and prosperity are interdependent. Provision number 4. Refugees, internally displaced persons, and humanitarian considerations. Return of refugees. Facilitate the safe, voluntary, and dignified return of refugees in coordination with territorial and/or customary authorities of the respective states to their countries of origin in a manner consistent with their international legal obligations and the provisions of the tripartite agreements on the voluntary repatriation of Congolese and Rwandan refugees signed in Kigali on 17 February 2010 between the DRC, Rwanda, and UNHCR, recognizing the positive contribution of this mechanism. Provision number 5. MONUSCO and other multilateral support. The parties shall facilitate and support MONUSCO's capacity to protect civilian populations and implement all elements of its mandate, including by respecting MONUSCO's freedom of movement and taking all appropriate measures to ensure the safety and security of UN personnel deployed in Eastern DRC. Provision number 6. Regional Economic Integration Framework. The parties agreed to launch within 3 months of this agreement entry into force the phased Regional Economic Integration Framework to be set out in a separate agreement to be titled the Regional Economic Integration Framework that builds on existing efforts such as the AFCFTA, ICGLR, COMESA, and the EAC. The parties shall use this framework to expand foreign trade and investment derived from regional critical mineral supply chains and introduce greater transparency, which shall ensure illicit economic pathways are blocked and both parties derive greater prosperity, especially for the region's population, from the region's natural resources through mutually beneficial partnerships and investment opportunities. Provision number 7. Implementation and dispute resolution. Dispute resolution. Any dispute arising from the implementation of this agreement shall be resolved amicably between the parties with the facilitation of the Joint Oversight Committee upon a request of either party. Where the parties fail to resolve a dispute, the parties shall refer the matter to Joint Oversight Committee for facilitation. Number 8. Final provisions. This agreement shall remain in force indefinitely unless otherwise agreed by the parties. This agreement may be terminated at any time by either party upon 6-month written notice to the other party. This agreement may be amended by written agreement of the parties. The annex shall be considered part of this agreement. Number 9. Entry into force. This agreement shall enter into force and the obligations herein take effect starting from the signature of this agreement. Decades of conflict escalated earlier this year when M23 rebels seized control of large parts of eastern DRC, including the regional capital Goma, the city of Bukavu, and 2 airports. Thousands of people have been killed and hundreds of thousands of civilians forced from their homes following the recent rebel offensive. After the loss of territory, the government in Kinshasa turned to the U.S. for help, reportedly offering access to critical minerals in exchange for security guarantees. Eastern DRC is rich in coltan and other resources vital to the global electronics industries. Rwanda denies supporting the M23 and insists its military presence in the region is a defensive measure against threats posed by armed groups like the FDLR, a rebel militia that committed the genocide against Tutsi in 1994. Rwanda in turn accuses the Congolese government of backing the FDLR, which is denied by Democratic Republic of Congo. Their presence is of utmost concern to Kigali. Several crucial questions remain unanswered. According to BBC, will the M23 rebel group withdraw from areas they have occupied? Does respect for territorial integrity mean Rwanda admits having troops in eastern DRC and will withdraw them? Would the agreed return of refugees allow thousands of Congolese back from Rwanda? Does disarmament mean that the M23 will now lay down their weapons? Who will disarm the FDLR after the failure of several previous attempts? Would the agreed humanitarian access allow the reopening of the rebel-held airports to aid supply? Thank you all for watching Philo Hope. For more contents like this, please subscribe to our channel. We wish you well.